Happy Information Wednesday, Chalyce McQueen here. Per my teaser, I had a couple different individuals approach me asking what happens in the event that you're in an accident and your coverage limits are simply not enough. Oddly enough, they were under the impression that the insurance company, out of the goodness of their heart, would simply increase their underlying limits to compensate for said accident and claims. Well, I'm here to tell you, I hate to burst your bubble, kill your dreams, but this will never happen. Unfortunately, your policy limits and what you pay for is exactly what the insurance company is promising to pay out in the event that you have an accident and a claim. So it's important, like I always preach, that you do have adequate coverage. I'm going to explain exactly how scary of a situation it is in today's marketplace in terms of payouts, insurance coverages, deficiencies, etc. So just to reiterate, per usual, in the state of Arizona, our requirements for auto insurance is $25,050 for bodily injury and $15,000 for property damage. There's no requirement for you to maintain comprehensive, collision, uninsured and underinsured, but all of those things are highly recommended, especially in terms of under and uninsured, because just like you're trying to protect somebody in the event that you hurt them, and of course protect yourself, you want to make sure that you have the adequate coverage if the table was turned, that you're in an accident with someone that, of course, did not have either adequate coverage or no coverage at all, which based on the stats of 1 in 5 drivers not having insurance, this is a high reality. Now, in terms of how scary this is, just taking first half numbers of 2021 into consideration from the U.S. Department of Transportation, there was over 20,150 fatality car accidents reported. So that's only half the year. We have a whole other half that hasn't even been taken into consideration. And just based on that first half number, we've already seen an 18.7% increase in fatalities compared to the year prior of 2020. To break down what the average bodily injury is. Now, when I refer to bodily injury, I'm not referring to any fatalities. I'm not referring to any major injuries, just a standard payout that we saw as kind of a trend, so to speak. Unfortunately, the latest number that we have on the books is from 2019, and that was a total of 18,675,000 for average bodily injury. Again, this is non-major incidents or accidents. And based on the last 10 years, it looks like every year there was an increase of about 12% in this number. So using that last number of 2019, I of course multiplied that by 3 years, which gives us an average of 36%. So right now, if you were to look at just non-major injury or anything bodily injury, we're already past our underlining $25,000 requirement in the state of Arizona, which means if you have that coverage, you are on the hook for some liability, personal liability that you're going to have to pay that no one's going to step up and pay for. And unfortunately, spoiler alert, this bodily injury payout that I'm referring to is actually separate than pain and suffering. On average, we're seeing $15,000 as the latest number in pain and suffering settlements, in addition to, of course, any bodily injury, property damage, etc. Now, if that wasn't enough to scare you, here is some numbers as of 2020. So when it comes to fatalities, an average settlement payout is $1.8 million. We have a disability-related accident is an average of $164,000 payout. An evident injury, which means that, they definitely have an injury and it could progress. That is an average of $62,000 payout. And then a possible injury is a $42,000 payout. So just use your basic state minimum coverage of $25,000 as kind of a morality standpoint. You can see how concerning these numbers are and how you are 100% underinsured and not protected having state minimum coverage. And these numbers are just average numbers reported to the U.S. Department of Transportation. Obviously, it probably varies per state. The reality is 80% of our states do have that minimum requirement of $25,050. So not only is it an issue inside your own state of where you drive and where you live, it also is a concern when you travel. Just to reiterate too, I've said in past videos that the actual pricing between all these underlining limits and increases of bodily injury from 25,000 to 50, 50,000 to 100 to 300, all of these limits as a whole are actually not a huge price increasing or premium for that adequate protection that you need and you deserve. So do yourself a favor, don't put someone else in harm's way because you're not willing to pay for your insurance, and don't put yourself in harm's way because you're not willing to pay for your insurance. My favorite saying is always, you don't have to be a millionaire to be sued like one. It doesn't matter what you have now, what you have tomorrow, or what you could have, you're still going to be sued. So do yourself a favor, give me a call. Let me audit your policy. Let me make sure you have the adequate coverage and protection that you need at a price that makes sense. You can give me a call at 602-525-5665 or email me at cmcqueen@farmersagent.com. Remember to ask yourself, are you protected? And with state minimum, we know you're not. So give me a call. See you next week.